She just wants somebody to boss around, and Nick allowing it. Grow some balls, Nick.
Not grow some balls.
He needs to.
Screaming.
He needs to.
Hey.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Thaleisha. And welcome to the Binge Box, where we share our thoughts on TV shows, friendships, relationships, and everything in between.
Join us as we binge on all the good stuff life has to offer. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. We're a new channel. We're on our way to 50 subscribers. It's a big milestone for us. If you're one of our return viewers, we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the support. And drop a comment. Like the video. Communicate with us. We would love to speak more with you guys. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Love is Blind, Season 7, Episode 8. Let's jump right in.
Episode 8 starts off with Ashley and Tyler talking about their wedding day. She kind of asks him if he's willing or interested in being a part of the process of the wedding. And he's like, yeah, I want to make decisions. I want to be a part of it. And she's like, I don't really want you to be a part of it. I want you to be the co-captain. I'm the captain. You take my lead and you can pitch in where it's needed. Like, this has always been her dream since she was a little girl. She's not interested in him taking the reins.
That'd be my dream as a guy. Like, I want to make a couple of decisions for my wedding, but honestly, my fiance could go crazy. I just want her to show up looking good. I'll show up looking good, and we do our thing. But the intricate details, if she want to do that on her own, be my guest. She just come home and be like, hey, do you like the brown or the beige? And I'll just be like, brown or whatever. But I don't need to be going to venues. If she want to do all that with her friends, go for it. Go crazy.
The process of wedding planning is a lot, though. And
that's why
in general, it's like you're going to need help regardless. I mean, I guess it's better to not have too many hands in the pot. But at the same time, it's like you do need a lot of assistance. To which is why I feel like the best thing is just to get a wedding coordinator and call it a day.
Yeah, I agree.
So he agrees. He's like, you know what? You can do what you want. This is your dream. Take the reins. But I'm going to pick out the kids' names. And she's like, no, absolutely not.
And if you've been on social media lately, Tyler and kids go together. So
real bad.
I'm going to just leave that there. When we get there, we're going to get there. But
real
Tyler,
bad.
and he want to pick out kids' names and let me not get too ahead of myself.
Let's come back to that. We cut to Steven and Monica. They're going to a flower shop for a little date. He's talking about being rewarded, for doing the right thing. He wants to show her or give her what she wants, but he doesn't want to just do it outright. Like, he wants to do it in his own way. So they start talking about their day. She says she went to yoga with Taylor. And apparently both of their dads are very apprehensive about the process and being recorded. They're not a fan of, being on television, I guess. And Monica mentions that her dad was on the phone whispering to her that she doesn't want to end up with another liar like her last boyfriend. And the reason that stuck out to me personally is because I just feel like there's certain things that you don't let partners know, at least not, off the rip. And that was a moment for her to, keep that message between her and her dad, personally.
I feel you. You don't want to get someone too much sauce so they could take advantage of you and manipulate that part of it. But my thoughts on this whole scene was, first off, Steven was just like, yo, Monica, I need you to shut up about flowers. I'm taking you to make some permanent flowers that will last forever. So hopefully
never talk about flowers.
Hopefully this woman will never ask about flowers ever again. Another thing that stuck out to me was that Monica said her dad was whispering on the phone. That's where she gets it from. This is why they whisper all day long. It makes sense now.
Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Facts.
Next up, we have Nick and Hannah. Nick decides to show Hannah around his family home where he obviously lives. He says his mom won't care that Hannah isn't religious once she has good values. He shows her his childhood room. And at some point, Hannah decides to get on the bed with her nasty outside clothes and shoes while she's sitting down asking Nick a whole bunch of questions about living at home and if he's actually ready to move out of the basement into his own space, doing his own thing, being an adult.
I don't think I'm moving into your basement. You're gonna be moving in with me, right? I think you're moving into my apartment. You ready to move out?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like Nick might not be ready to come out from under the wing. He's really comfortable there, and I guess there's nothing wrong with. There's some things wrong with it, but it's comfortability, I guess. And a lot of times in family relationships, your family doesn't force you to grow and be independent. You will stay where you're at because most people gonna be like, "Yo, I don't gotta pay rent. I don't gotta cook." Like, that's low-key a free ride. People love it. But Hannah hates that.
Yep.
But Hannah too big and grown to be getting on people's bed and her outside clothes. I'm gonna second that because that's nastiness.
Disgusting. They do it every season. And I'm just like, bro, what is wrong with y'all? Next up, we have Marissa and Ram. They meet up with Marissa's friends. She talks about his discomfort with her being in the military, her political views, and how her political views are naturally tied to her ethical views, and that makes him question her morality. Her friends kind of go back and forth with him about that because some of them are also in the military. And they kind of just come to terms with they're just not really on the same accord in that regard. Ram starts revealing that he's actually Venezuelan. We've been trying to figure out where the heck he's from for the longest time. It's Venezuela. He said he believes in U.S. imperialism. Marissa says that she's always gotten with people that she doesn't morally align with, and she wanted to change that in this experiment, but it doesn't seem like she's changing that.
I mean, she used to date military dudes, so technically she was with people that align with the service and stuff like that. But I feel like they got to come to a decision where either they need to, if this is very important to them, then it's not going to work for you guys. Or y'all need to keep these two parts of your life separate. Where Marissa, if you want to talk about the military, talk about that with your military friends. Because she has a whole bunch of military friends. And don't bring that home with you. And a lot of people do that in their house where if, let's say their husband is an athlete, only talks about his sports, the wife says no sports in the house. And you create that boundary where you could do your military stuff, just don't bring that shit home to me. And Ramsey could set that boundary because she has her military friends. Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, Ramsey walking around saying you don't like the military when she's with all of her military friends.
That's all she's talked about.
It don't make no sense. Time. It don't sound like it makes sense because you just with all of them that does this, and you saying you hate it. It's just like, why you here then, bro?
Dad,
why you here?
Heavy on why you here. He doesn't know what he wants though.
She don't know what she wants either.
Neither of them. Next up we have Tim and Alex. Tim is about to meet Alex's parents, and they don't know that they're engaged. Well, the dad doesn't know that they're engaged to be married. So they're trying to make it a moment and have him ask her dad for her hand in marriage. The dad is not enthused at all. He doesn't really care to meet Tim. He's like, what the heck is going on? What you got my daughter doing? Who is this man? And why are we out here? What are we doing? Tim's outside. He's grilling and just preparing. I guess Alex is kind of prepping him for how to deal with the situation. Tim eventually comes in from grilling and he starts talking with the family, telling them about himself, about his history, what he does for work, where he's at mentally. And he starts telling them when he thinks about a wife, he thinks, who do I want next to me on the worst day of my life? And that struck a chord because I'm like, yeah, because you trauma dump a lot that you always think about the worst, it seems. Yeah. But to each his own.
I will say this. I don't really feel Tim like that. I don't really bangs with him like that. But I will say he sells himself very well.
He knows how to talk a good game.
Yeah, he sells himself very, very well. Because in this scene, I'm like, yo, damn, do I like Tim? I'm like, wait, hold on. I have to look myself in the mirror we don't like Tim.
Are you sure?
But he's saying some good stuff about himself. And this the way he's wording stuff and the way he words love and how he represents marriage is just damn, bro. You might be a good guy.
Maybe. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Never know. He says he feels like Alex is the one. He talks about his past being in the military, and Alex's dad also mentions how MS kind of took away that opportunity for him. So they kind of relate on that desire to be there, I guess. So that opened the reins for them to have a little bit of, equal communication. Eventually, everybody steps away, and Tim has a moment with Alex's dad, and he decides to read him the letter he's written in the pod.
So, Mr. Bird, first and foremost, I was raised to begin all things with a grateful spirit. So, thank you. Thank you for bringing Alex into this world. Thank you for raising her and understanding what love is. I'm blessed that we were both willing to bet on ourselves and find each other through this process.
It was a really sweet moment. The dad gets emotional. He says even though they just met, he believes him and he accepts him as his son and welcomes him into the family. And then obviously the rest of the family come back in. They all, like him. They welcome him as well with open arms.
Yeah, it just seemed like a really wholesome moment. The dad definitely got emotional. It was just like, it was touching.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing it was like, oh, maybe Tim and Alex might work out. I mean, based on what we saw so far after their fight, it seems like that was their bump in the road and they've been on smooth sailing since.
Yeah.
Meeting the family went really well. I know how important her family was and how important Tim meeting her family was important to him as well. And I feel like they both passed this test with flying colors. Like, I give Tim the utmost respect for the way he went in there, the way he handled himself, the things he said, the things he did. He read the letter. I was like, oh, Tim, you might be a stand-up dude. And the pops was like, yo, I respect it. Like, we're good on this side.
Yeah.
So
it was a wholesome moment.
Shout out to Tim.
Next up, we have Garrett and Taylor. They both go to Taylor's apartment, take a look around. He gets to see where she's been living this entire time. And they kind of start talking about like the future, living in San Diego, Garrett having to move and leave his family, and Taylor wanting to raise her kids around her family, which is in San Diego. He says he's excited for a future with her, but obviously he's hesitant to leave his family. That's like where he's grown up. That's all he's known. And of course, he wants his future children to also have his family in their lives. And of course, Taylor's just reassuring that, his family will be incorporated. It's not like just because they're going away that they have to just disappear from the family. They're all going to be a part of it, and they'll do what needs to be done in order to make sure everybody's involved.
Yeah, no. I do feel like Garrett's a bit like hesitant about it, which I feel like any normal person would be.
Mm-hmm.
To pick up and move your entire life to the other side of the country for a woman you just met, technically, is a big ordeal. I think Garrett will do it for her, but I don't know if he fully is 100% committed to doing it. It might be something he resents in the future.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, but I feel like there might be a chance of that, especially if they don't work out. And it's just like, yo, I just blew my whole life up for you. Or if they have kids, it's like my kids, the same way she wants her kids to be in her family, he wants the same thing. And I get they're going to have to choose because your family's in two halves of the world. So it's not like one of those where you can't spend the weekend with your grandparents. They're a flight away. So it has to be one of those holidays and summers and stuff. So that's a tough one. I feel
like considering that they both have moved away from their families, as important as family is, it wouldn't be that big of a deal to be away from the family and be able to travel back to them because they're already accustomed to them. I know he didn't move that far. She did. Yeah, but she wants her kids to be close. Yeah,
she wants to get back to where she's from. And I don't know if that's a thing with Garrett as well, because since Garrett didn't move that far, that might mean he wanted people that's like, I don't want to be up under my family, but I want to be close enough to access them. Yeah, like Virginia and DC is probably about 30 minutes, an hour away, which is like, he could go see them whenever they want.
Right.
So he might still need that.
Next up, we have Steven. Steven says he lost his job right when he came back from the experiment. And apparently he hasn't been out of work longer than a week and a half. I don't actually know what Steven does for work, though.
Electrician.
He's an electrician. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Monica tells him that she doesn't mind taking care of him. And they'll figure it out. They'll work through things. Apparently, they stopped having sex since he's been questioning the wedding. She just hasn't felt as comfortable to do with him. And then he randomly just starts talking about pegging and sticking his business in pineapples and mac and cheese and a lot of other weird things.
Steven is a nasty guy. I ain't gonna lie. Steven is a freak. He's a freak.
Top freak.
And since he hasn't been getting that lately, it's like has him like,
even more.
He's hungry. He's very, very hungry. You don't eat a meal for like, you eat all day so your belly touching your back?
No.
His business is touching his back right now because he's hungry.
That's insane.
He's hungry right now. So he started talking about weird stuff. Food and pineapples and mac and cheese. Like, mac and cheese is my favorite food, and I can't eat that for like a month now.
You're disgusted now.
I don't want to eat it no more.
It's understandable. He's gross. Next up, we have Nick and Hannah. Nick comes home from work, and immediately Hannah's like, chores. What are you supposed to be doing? What should you have been doing? And why isn't it done? Nick is just busy with work. He's tired from the day, and she don't care.
It's nice that, like, if I tell you, like, hey, Nick, we take the trash out, you do. Or, like, hey, Nick, we get stuff out of the dryer, you will. But I feel like you should be able to do that. Like, I don't want to have to tell you every time. Like,
I do take out the trash.
Yeah, you do, but I feel like today I had to ask, and yesterday I had to ask.
Hannah is in full mommy mode, and it's annoying. It's annoying as hell. Especially because, like, Hannah don't got no job. So, what you been doing all day, Hannah? Coming home and stressing out this man.
Planning her day to stressing.
Yeah, I'm not saying, like, it should be women should cook and clean or whatever, but if you don't work, you should take on more of the housework than me if I'm going to work for 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day or whatever. Mm-hmm. It don't make any sense for him to come home from work and you complaining about stuff when he just walked in the door. Mm-hmm. That's what don't make sense. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people try to, like, say he didn't do something before they give you a chance to. How are you going to say he didn't take the garbage out? He been in the house for 14 seconds. Mm-hmm. When he's going to take the garbage out? When he was at work?
Yes.
Like, come on, Hannah.
Actually.
She just wants somebody to boss around and Nick allowing it. Grow some balls, Nick.
Not grow some balls.
He need to.
Screaming.
He need to.
No comment on that part. They start talking about finances. They talk about splitting bills and expenses. Who's in charge of what? And Hannah just ends up saying, like, I have a rough view of things just because I think that everything I do is better. And, that was brave of her to say, because, most people think those things, but they don't say it out loud.
I mean, when you view somebody as a child, you say whatever. You can say whatever to your kids pretty much because you're the parent. She don't view them as equals.
She doesn't.
She does not view them as equals. So that's why she can say whatever to belittle him and pretty much call him stupid, but not saying those exact words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she says she thinks she's better than everyone, but she understands they're best friends and that he has a good heart and values, and they just have to figure things out, ultimately.
Her saying it was best friends is weird to me. I do think you should, like, be best friends with your partner, but the way she said it was on some, like, you in a friend zone. Like, we just best friends.
They're
like,
homies.
That's how she was saying, like, it was a roommate. Yeah. It's not her fiance, so I think Nick should take heed of that. And grow a pair of balls. Sorry.
I think they could work out that situation if, yes, he does stand up for himself a little bit more, but she also just needs to, like, relax a little bit.
Pipe down.
Just calm down. She seems very anxious. Next up, we're back to Tyler and Ashley. Tyler meets Ashley's dad for the first time. He talks about what he loves about her and about what he does. Ashley's dad asks him what are his views on family and things of that nature because he knows, obviously, it's very important to Ashley. And he emphasizes that they have the same values, the same importance of family is the same thing that they share. Ashley says he makes her feel like she could be soft, which is cute because it's like when you're a tough woman, rough around the edges, it's like when you find somebody that makes you soft, I feel like that's usually the sign. Because immediately when she came in, she was just like, I'm accustomed to being in a certain type of relationship. So now that she's in this relationship where she feels like she can release the reins, I guess that kind of appeals to her more, and that's why they connected so deeply.
Yeah, as a dude, that's what you want to do, anyways. You wanna let a woman be able to be soft and fully not have to be the big homie if that's what she had to do her whole life. So it is really good that Tyler allows her to bask in that soft side of her because I feel like even though they might be a rough exterior, like it's like a turtle and the inside is soft. So it's good that he could do that.
Right.
And he took on my family like he don't got a family at home.
Stop it.
But you know, Tyler,
we're not there yet.
Tyler, you're letting me down, man.
We're not
You're letting all
we're
Tylers down. Across the nation. The Tyler Association is not Jackie.
Not the Tyler Association. Insane.
What happens next?
So yeah, Dad is like, Ashley, step outside and needs to talk to this man. He talks to Tyler. He says he hasn't known love until he met Ashley, honestly. Then he asked for his permission to marry his daughter. Dad says, you know, I trust my daughter's decision. I don't necessarily know you, but I believe in my daughter and I know she's smart enough to choose the right thing. And with that, I'll give you the permission to, you know, propose to my daughter. Like, I'm going to just trust her intuition at this point because I don't know you enough. Which is smart because I'm like, usually they're all like, yeah, blah, 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 after a minute of meeting them. And I'm like, you still don't know this man. This man could be a liar, a manipulator, a murderer, for all we know.
Facts.
But yeah, he starts to get emotional. He says he's in the backseat, but he gives him his blessing. And he says, that's my only daughter, so don't play with her. In true Haitian fashion. I believe he's Haitian. I don't know what he
I saw it today.
What is he?
Nigerian.
He's
Nigerian.
Wow.
Yeah, I was on Ashley's Instagram earlier.
Okay.
He's Nigerian. And her pops look like...
I mean, they the same kind of people.
Yeah, the same type of vibes. Her pops look like he don't play. Like, and I respect it. All. Like, he look like one of them dudes where it's like, all right, let me not do nothing crazy. He look like he might make a call and it might be a wrap. So, Tyler, be careful. Especially...
Tread lightly.
Especially with the way you be moving, bruh. Be careful, bad man. Because bad man is real bad man. Ashley father's a real bad man. You don't want to play with them. You don't want to play with them Nigerians, all right?
Monica and Taylor are having a private conversation now, and apparently she's upset because she doesn't trust Steven. She said he went to a sleep study, but she doesn't believe he went to sleep at all. Steven had some weird fetishes and messages in his phone during this sleep study. And Monica tells him to leave and Venmo her money ASAP.
Run her bread.
I'm taking full responsibility for this, which is why I'm getting my stuff and I'm leaving you alone.
Great. Before you leave, I would like you to Venmo me the money you owe me for me carrying your weight the last couple days. If you wouldn't mind taking out your phone now to send me the Venmo.
Steven got enough to say for himself. She wants to see the messages, and he's like, yo, I deleted all of them. Mm-hmm. Good work. You don't want to incriminate yourself, bro.
Good work is not crazy?
He was finished anyways. You want to finish stuff?
She already saw them. You might as well just leave it. You're deleting it.
She only saw a peek.
Yourself even more.
He know he was done. That's why he deleted it. He know he was done. That's why he didn't even argue. He knew he was gonna be a unalive man. You know, he knew it was over for him. But what I will say is, she should have saw this coming. A few telltale signs in the pods when he mentions he cheated in the past. He mentioned that he was with a woman and he felt unworthy of her. She was too good for him. And until he was DMing women or OnlyFans girls,
sabotages himself in certain situations.
And this is a very similar situation because if you remember when they had the hot seat in Mexico, he also said he felt unworthy of Monica. Yeah. So since he feels unworthy, he's gonna go do foolishness.
More self-sabotage.
Yeah. So, Steven, you're a foolish man. You baited.
You get the infinite L.
Yeah, I think...
Why?
I don't think Monica was that great anyways. Like, we had our own feelings on Monica. But now Monica's going to look like a saint because...
But they seem like they could be a good match at some point.
I felt like Monica was, like, mean to him.
She wasn't... I feel like it's one of those, like, she has to work her way up to... Same thing with Hannah. I feel like they both have to work their way up to being a little bit more softer and more nice to the men that they're with. But I feel like it could work if they do get to that point.
I don't think so. I just feel like in relationships, I need to be equals. And if at that point, if your woman feels like she's like more than you, there's never a way for you to get back up there and be equal with her. She's always going to belittle you in some way because you allowed it.
But that's not necessarily true because roles change.
Roles do change.
Like, situations reverse themselves. And at the end of the day, if it comes to a point where it's like the man has the upper hand, the man in these cases has the upper hand, eventually the women will fall in line because it's like, what can you do but to take heed and follow their lead.
True, but remember how we just mentioned Ashley and how Tyler allows her to be soft?
Mm-hmm.
These men, Stephen, Nick, don't allow their women to be soft, so these women still have to be the women that they were before. And until there's no way for them to switch it and allow them to be soft later on because they already view them in a certain way. That's how I feel.
I get that.
I feel like when a man comes in, he allows you to be soft, then you can be soft. But he doesn't allow you to be soft, and you got to be on him, and you got to kind of wear the pants for a lot of it. It's hard for you to switch that now because it's like, do I trust you to wear the pants?
But it's also the start of the relationship. And roles, like I said, reverse. Where it's not always going to be one is leading. I mean, the one that's leading is always leading.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the other one leads. Sometimes nobody is leading. You're both just dragging each other along. Like,
for sure.
You know?
For sure.
It depends on the situation, the circumstance. She is sitting down with him, pressing him obviously about the messages. She starts crying. He gets up and he's like, he's like, you know what? I don't deserve you. And I'm going to leave. He leaves and Monica is just crying to Garrett and Taylor. And they're in there supporting her, basically showing up as they should, as good friends.
Shout out to Garrett. I will say shout out to Garrett. Taylor's there as support for her friend. Taylor and Monica seem like they have a good relationship. It seemed like Garrett and Steven had a good relationship as well. So that was like a double date pairing. Taylor and Monica was doing yoga in the morning and stuff like that. So it makes sense why Taylor's down there supporting. Garrett is just like, my girl is going to support her friend, so I'm just going to be there to support as well. And a lot of guys won't do that. A lot of guys are kind of just be on some, yo, babe, just let me know when you come back to the crib. I'm going to just go take a nap. So shout out to Garrett, bro. I respect that a lot.
Yeah. And that ends off the episode 8. So that is all for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And what else they got to do?
In the comments below, drop your thoughts on the episodes and everything we had to say. And which couples you think you're going to walk down the aisle and say, I do.
Let us know.
No spoilers. Stick to the episode. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, follow us on X at the Binge Box Pod, and we'll catch you in the next one. Happy binging.
Happy binging.